Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Ed Main, and I'm joined by our internal marketing manager, Susie Brown.
Good morning, everyone.
As you can see down here, we generally have Robert Large, our senior VP. He is not able to join us today, so we're going to do our best to walk through this with you guys. We're going to talk all about DIC, answer any questions that you have. We've done these now. This will be, I think, our 9th or 10th DIC webinar. They're always extremely well attended. We always have a lot of questions, so we do our best to answer those questions as we move through this presentation. As you guys can see down, there is a question section, so please feel free, again, if you have a question, to ask that question. Sometimes we pause, read them for a second, and then try to answer those questions for you. One of the biggest questions that we get is DIC for mobile home. As you can see, the DIC for mobile home, we have a little announcement right there on the front screen. Coming Q4, if all goes as planned, it should be out October 21st. Please look for communication from us leading up to that time. From what we know and what we've seen, there is no market for available market today for a manufactured or mobile home in the DIC type areas and the higher scores. So the fair plan option is there to cover the fire, but people do want more coverage, and it is not currently available. So we put together an endorsement to add it to our manufactured of mobile home products, submitted it. It got approved actually fairly quickly, all things being considered. When it comes to the DOI, things tend to not happen quickly. So again, I'm going slowly to get this started. We've already had 20 additional people log in within the last 3 minutes, so we'll keep this nice and slow as we move forward as people log in. Again, this will last about 30 minutes. What I'm going to do is go through a few slides, talk about DIC, what we offer, talk a little bit about the DIC, talk about the fair plan, and then I'm going to run through a quick quote, show you how the DIC works on our side and what we're looking for during the quoting and binding process. So again, with that being said, if there are any questions, please do not hesitate to put those questions in there, and we will do our best to answer those as we move from slide to slide. So some of the topics we're going to talk about today: why DIC and fair plan. Question came through. We'll be offering earthquake on these mobile home DICs. That is a great question. We have not seen the final. Right now, we do offer earthquake on the mobile homes. I do not believe we're going to be removing it. So yes, unless something changes, I have not seen the final programming for it. I will keep you guys updated on the earthquake for mobile homes in the DIC area. All right, so why DIC and fair plan? Can you endorse the current AGES policy with DIC? We'll talk about the admitted property policy package, which is the AGES, DIC, and the fair plan. Fair plan coverages we'll talk about. We'll actually show you the DIC endorsement. Again, I'll show you how to actually access the fair plan. It's a very easy process now. A quote walkthrough, and again, questions at any time that you guys might have them. So why fair plan and DIC? Well, for most of you, and the reason why you're on here is you guys do homes that happen to be in the brush area. You've seen how the market has changed, how it shifted, how dramatically the prices have increased, and then also the restriction in the admitted market for companies wanting really any home with any type of brush, any slope, access issues. Companies have really tightened their belt. So what we've seen is on our side, and we've offered DIC now since we've launched over 4 years ago. We did get business in the past, but now we see a huge volume of DIC business coming in every single day. So when you compare a DIC and a fair plan combination, it's really about the cost and the ease of use. What you're seeing, and I just saw this on Monday, a $9,500 premium that looked like it was going to get bound through a surplus lines market. The surplus lines market looked at the home again, decided not to take it, and then they got a quote for $20,000. So the price for the surplus lines market is insane from what we're seeing. We haven't seen it soften at all this year. In companies, there's a few out there that still are taking some of these higher scores, but in general, most companies have moved away from anything in the brush. So for those of you familiar with the wildfire scoring system, it is a system that scores from 0 to 30. 0 to 3 is a majority of the housing stock in California. It's about 84% of that housing stock. From 4 to 6 is an additional 9%. So you're looking at just about 6% of all houses fall within a 7 to a 30, and most of them are 7 to 12. So above a 12, you're talking about a house that is way out there in the middle of a forest that you cannot see from Google, that you cannot find a road, so very hard to place homes. So with that being said, most carriers do take zeros, ones, and twos. Threes are becoming a little bit tighter depending on where they are. So that has really activated and pushed this DIC market. We are admitted and regulated by the CDI, which again makes it a little bit better of an explanation to your client as you're talking through a non-admitted versus an admitted market. We are available statewide, every zip code, every wildfire score available for these homes. Some other markets that do DIC may have restrictions for certain zips, certain scores, certain areas. Today, we do not. Automatic renewals, which, as an agent ourselves, Susie and I were independent agents for close to 20 years. You really wanted to make it easy. You want to make it to where every year you don't have to re-quote it, have to worry about it going from 2,000 to 9,000. The regulatory CDI really makes it so you're not going to see that jump in premium. You're going to see, obviously, sometimes you'll see a jump, 6.9, 7, 10, 12 maybe, but you're not going to see a 400% rate increase. Higher commission. In general, you're going to get higher commission doing this than doing it through a surplus lines. We've seen 10 to 12%, from those surplus lines markets, as low as 8 I've seen, so you're going to get higher commission through us. And really, ease of use. As an agent, you want to make it easy. I know how hard it is to do a surplus lines quote, especially in today's market. You got to send it over. You got to wait. It can take 48 hours. Then you got to collect money, send it off. It's just a long process. So ease of use, cost effective is really why Fair Plan and DIC are a great option. So if you have active agents policies with us and you want to do a DIC with them for a policy that may be non-renewing because it's in a higher brush area, that's not an available option today for you to take a policy and put a DIC endorsement on it. We want to avoid confusion. We want to make sure a new policy number is generated. You have to rewrite that policy to get the DIC endorsement. It does activate some underwriting activity, different inspection, a form that needs to be printed and signed and returned, and that has to be remitted and only signed by the named insured as well. So if you're doing a husband-wife and the husband or wife signs the application, we want to make sure that same person signs all the documents, including the DIC endorsement. Now, in regards to the Fair Plan policy, you do not have to submit a copy of that Fair Plan policy to us. We've seen a lot of agents do that anyway. We don't need the front page of anything. We just don't need anything. We just want you to know that a Fair Plan policy must be purchased or equivalent. So if it's a forced placed policy to cover fire, we've seen those. Those are fine as well. So here's a little kind of a progression of how the policy works. So again, if there are any questions as I'm going through this, please feel free to ask those questions. So your Fair Plan is going to cover fire, internal explosion, and smoke just from the basic Fair Plan policy. You can add the extended coverage, which, as you can see here, covers your wind, your hail, riot, airplanes, volcanic. All that's going to be added as the extension, as well as your vandalism. Then you would buy the DIC policy, which is going to give you water damage coverage, theft, and liability. So it's really there to help kind of fill that gap that is missing from the Fair Plan and the Fair Plan extended coverage. And then you're going to get your complete policy package, admitted policy package coverage. So to, again, be more specific, your fire and lightning, that's going to be done through the Fair Plan. You're going to get the extended, which is going to cover the wind, and then your VMM as well is going to cover the vandalism, as you can see in this nice slide. So, by the way, once we're done with this, I will email a PDF version of this entire slide for you, as well as a separate DIC, kind of a one-page flyer that is great to use for clients. And let's see.
We do see a couple questions come through. We did get one regarding the paperwork, so Ed did tell you we're going to be sending an email regarding that. And then the next one, can you back up a couple slides to take a few notes real quick?
If you have, I apologize on that. Maybe I was talking a little bit too fast. Was it that slide you were looking at? I'll keep that up there again for just a second. But again, I will send this out to all of you guys once we're done over the past few that we've done, people do want to see a copy of this, maybe take their time to read and get a lot more familiar with the specifics of it. So with that being said, I'm going to jump over another slide here. So this is the actual DIC endorsement. There's the endorsement number itself. This is what prints with the policy when you do have the DIC endorsement. On the DIC endorsement itself for a specific policy, up at the top here, you're going to see a policy number. And then at the bottom, you're going to see a line that says signature for the named insured. So we want that actual form of that DIC form to be submitted back to our underwriting team. We've seen in the past where they've taken a generic one and just sent it over, where we've been okay with that, but the reality of it is we're trying to move towards making sure the actual DIC with the policy number on it is applied. Let's see. So yeah, go ahead on that last question.
I see DIC auto renews. Will you require the Fair Plan deck every renewal?
Good question. So we don't ever require a copy of the Fair Plan deck page. So whether or not you submit it one time or not, we do not need a copy of it. So please feel free, if you'd like to send it in. Our underwriting team sees it come in. It creates additional work. You know, some agents just like to have that inside the portal, but again, it is not necessary for you to do that. All right, so Fair Plan Access. So this here, and again, once I send this over to you guys, you'll have access to that link. This is the new updated, as you can see at the bottom, it says BIF 419. So this form was updated back in April for you to be able to get access. So they used to have a fax number on it. They wanted a lot of more information. Now they've streamed it down and want you to email it over to that email number. And within 24 to 48 hours, I actually called the Fair Plan recently and asked them how they're doing in regards to timing. Are they truly issuing those credentials in that amount of time? And they said yes. But the biggest key is to make sure you send a copy of the license. And it says valid fire and casualty license. So make sure it is the most recent copy of the license. And a lot of times agents have not done that and wondered why they have not received the credentials. And that is what they told me is the reason why.
We did get another question that came through, and it says, do you require same coverage A limits on the Fair Plan,
the Fair Plan and the DIC policy. So great question. We get that question a lot. So our maximum coverage A today is $800,000. The Fair Plan goes up to 1.5 combined. So what we like to say is that the word require is not what we like to say. What we say is it's in your best interest as a broker to do the same limits. If you do a policy at a 1.3 million and then you have another policy at 800,000, you're talking an E&O exposure there. We don't ask for a copy of the Fair Plan, so we don't know. But we want to make sure that those limits are matching, and the Fair Plan is going to tell you the same thing.
We did get a couple more questions. One was, will we get this form? I believe you're asking, where can we acquire the form?
So the form is on that. If you see the link right there, again, I'll send this over to you in a PDF. You'll have all of this information in here for you guys to get it.
And then we had another one. Is DIC an optional coverage or is it a mandatory?
So depending on where the home is, we're going to force the DIC on homes that have higher wildfire score. So if it is forced, it is not an option to remove it. So that's the key to how the DIC works. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and jump into a quote here. And when I do the quote, I generally take a little bit more time with that when I'm doing a webinar. But today, I'm going to assume most of you have done quotes with us, so I'll kind of keep it fast and move through and talk about the key DIC notes that are in here. So from our Ages Easy site, hopefully all you guys are familiar with our Ages Easy site. If you have not, please make a note of it. It's got our producer guides on it, product guides for all of our products on here. It's got producer resources. It's got a lot of great information on it, and you can log into our portal from any page as well. All right, so I'm going to go into our test environment. All right. Again, thank you guys for joining us today. So once you log in, excuse me, your monitor is disconnecting. All right, here we go. All right, so once you log in, you're going to want to go ahead and go to the quote tab. And we're going to start with the zip code. And we're going to do a HO3 primary home. So again, as a reminder, our HO3 program underwriting for both DIC and non-DIC is for primary home only. If it's a seasonal secondary home or vacation rental, tenant occupied, that's always going to fall under our DP3 program. All right. So John Smith, birthday, we always want the birthday. The birthday is important to make sure we rate and run loss history based on that. So all I've done, name, birthday, street address, validate the address, roof condition, and hit continue. So in regards to DIC on other companies, there are a few other markets out there that do offer the DIC program. They have definitely a lot more restrictions. I've seen some of the major markets. They don't want roofs that are older than 25 years. They don't want tenant-occupied dwellings. They may have a cap at $700,000 for coverage A. So our program and underwriting definitely still apply for both HO3 and DP3. And the DP3 does allow all those occupancies for Airbnb, vacation rental, where some other markets may not have that option as well. So we've seen a lot of DIC on the vacation rental come through for us. Now, the other item, since the underwriting is important, in this home is a good example of it. We do still want the slope. So this home here, I'll show you. The slope still has to be 30% or less. So it's hard to tell from these photos, especially this one. It looks like you obviously, in Lake Arrowhead, drive into the garage, and as you see, there are stairs going down. We are okay with that as long as it's less than 30 degrees, and there's no post and pier holding the house up. So if the house has post and pier and it's larger than a crawl space and it's not covered, that's unacceptable. If you have questions about it, about a particular risk, please reach out to me. I talk to agents all day, every day. We talk about risks. You know, we do kind of we don't really pre-underwrite it, but we pre-screen, if that makes sense. All right, let's go back here. Question that came in here.
We do have, does the DIC cover fire caused by kitchen appliances, I believe?
That's what it looks like. Yeah, so no fire is covered on a DIC policy, just to let you guys know. So whenever the fire happens, that peril is excluded from the policy. All right, so let's go ahead and hit calculate. There we go. There's our replacement cost done here. And now you'll see the DIC endorsement applied. So the wildfire score came in at a 4N. That automatically activates the DIC endorsement. If the score comes in and we don't require it, you will not see this whole area right here.
And we did get a couple more questions. The first one is, so do you have vacate rental DICs with DP3 only, or HO3, or both?
Okay, so yeah, it looks like that came through a little bit different. So if the question here, I'm trying to interpret the question here, we do have vacation rental option, but that's only DIC through our DP3 program. HO3 is primary occupancy only.
And then we did get another one about post and piers.
So on the post and pier, so we do not allow for post and pier just in general. Our guidelines state no. If you have a home that has a crawl space with a small portion of post and pier, we do look at that. I would definitely recommend for a phone call to underwriting. We want to make sure it's a crawl space, and literally a crawl space where they have to hunch over and it's fully enclosed. So we want to make sure that's done. Now, if they have posts holding up patios, we're okay with that. But the foundation, has to have enclosures and a crawl space, and 30% we will take. That is correct.
We did get a couple more. Do you offer DIC on renters policies?
Currently, we do not. So we are working on a standalone DIC policy, which we're not going to truly get into too much right now. It's hopefully an announcement coming soon where we're going to offer a policy for every type of risk that you have, whether it's a condo, whether it's a renter's, mobile home, manufactured home. So that will be coming, but today we do not.
Does Aegis inspect every dwelling?
We do. So every house does get an inspection, exterior only, and that's usually done 7 to 10 days after the effective date. Here quickly, we've changed these defaults here to no in our system, but please know that this discount here was a home purchase or refinance in the last 9 months. Should be a yes. And do they have private passenger auto? Yes. So even if AAA is where their auto is, please give that discount. Even if they bought the home a year ago, please give that discount. It's a 14% combined discount. If they have an alarm, please give that a discount as well. They have all year to provide that proof to us. So yes, no DIC for condos or mobile home or renters for now. That is correct. Let's see, next question.
We have, what about homes on slab foundation? You only talked about crawl space foundation.
So yeah, slab foundation is fine. We don't have a problem with that. ETA on the mobile home is October for the DIC. So that's another question that just came through. All right, so moving over to the coverage, it's going to make you now, when you're under the coverage tab, click this difference in condition acknowledgement. So once that has been forced, you'll have to, again, early on acknowledge that you know that it is a difference in condition policy. We want to make sure that the agent is aware of what they're binding. All right. And there's our premium. So $536, $304,000 of coverage. Default deductible is $2,500. As an agent, you never want to have too low of a deductible. The last thing you want to have is insurers turning in claims for $1,200 on a $500 deductible, and then now they have a price increase for the next 3 to 5 years. So I always recommend doing that. Maximum animal liability is $100,000. So that's another good question that came through. We include $50,000. All right, and again, you'll see here difference in condition endorsement applied. There's the credit for it right there. All right, so at this point, we're basically done with the quoting portion, which is about 75% of the way. Now we're going to go ahead and just bind it. I'm going to bind it for you to show you how that DIC endorsement actually looks. Okay, so now we'll get phone numbers. So thank you for the comment on the system. An agent just said, nice system, by the way. So we like our system. So we've always tried to make it as easy as possible. For those of you that have used other systems, I've still seen in the market today, there is another company that does a DOS-based dwelling fire program. So I've seen it, and it takes a long time. So we hope ours is a little bit easier to use. So, and what we like about our system is, if we don't want something, we're not going to let you bind it primarily. You can't bind, a $3 million risk. You can't bind a policy with 4 losses. We're just not going to let you do it. And a lot of that has to do right here in the question section. So we do have another question, by the way.
Let's see. It says, can an agent charge a broker fee?
Absolutely. You guys are on a broker contract with us. You can charge a broker fee, no problem at all.
And what about on a DIC policy?
No problem. Broker fee away. All right, so we're going to hit continue. Oh, let's go back here. How many So a question came in, how many losses with a DIC? So again, our guidelines for HO3 and DP3 follow through to the DIC. So we do allow for 2 losses in the last 36 months. And regardless of the loss type and how much was paid, by the way. All right, so on this last one, I'm going to answer it incorrectly. So I'm going to say, is the risk title the name of a business or corporation? Now, on an HO3, we do not allow that. So if I try to hit continue, it's going to tell me unacceptable. So I'll just close it, correct it, and move forward. And here is our mortgage section. Here, we're going to go ahead and add in the mortgagee. If you're doing escrow bill, we do allow escrow on DIC as well. Hit continue. Now we're going to run the loss history. So the loss history is done in real time. As you can see, no loss is identified. We don't run loss history after the fact. If there is an open loss, that can come out after the policy is bound. There is a back-end loss history for open losses. We do not accept losses. The agents charge more for 2 losses in 36. We do. So it's a 15% surcharge on the first loss and a 25% surcharge on the second loss. All right, so now we're right at the end here. Again, giving you a couple alerts to make sure to submit the proof of alarm. So if you guys have been using us in the past and not familiar, if you guys are aware, but if they have an alarm and they're in front of you and say, well, I just don't have my proof, please give them that discount. We give them actually all year to submit that proof to us. Susie and I come from a world where if you didn't have everything in front of you at the time that you bound it, you didn't do anything except exactly what you did. So, for us, it's a little strange to tell somebody, go ahead and give that discount. We'll give them all year. But we do send out from underwriting proof, and again, you can submit it to us. And there is a different level discount depending on if it's local or not. And again, down here, difference in condition, again, telling you to submit it. All right, hit continue. We're almost done here. Now, at last minute, if you want to change it to a 5-pay or 3-pay, you can do that here. We're going to hit continue. So we've got another question that came through here. Got a couple of them coming through real quick. 1 second here. As my mouse just died.
On the Fair Plan policy, they offer personal property coverage. Should we select this?
Yes, because you want in an event of that peril that's not covered through the DIC, such as fire, you're going to want that covered under the Fair Plan policy in the event of a fire. Okay, so now we're at the last one that came through. Let's see, we're going to do by credit card.
Do you do e-sign for docs and paperless online accounts?
So we do allow forms to be signed by DocuSign, e-sign, Adobe Sign, whatever option you guys want to use. We do allow for digitally signed documents. Liability is offered up to $500,000. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and bind this one here real quick. I'm putting in my personal Amazon credit card number. If you guys want to go shopping, please use that one.
We did get another question. Is liability above $100,000 offered?
Yeah, so we include $100,000 and go up to $500,000. All right, so now we're going to bind this policy. So while it's binding on a credit card, it is putting that process through, and then it'll continue to the documentation.
All right, we did get another question that came through. If the insured mentioned, yes, home has the alarm, and during the year term, he doesn't not bring it in, what happens to the additional premium? Will he be charged?
So in the event of the alarm, like I said, we give the alarm credit for the first year. We do send out a few letters asking for that proof. If it does not come in by renewal, we will then we will renew without that credit. So they won't be surcharged for that year, but they'll be renewed without that credit. Mother-in-law quarters, lived in or not lived in, that is a very, what's a good way of saying that, very broad type of question. We do allow for one tenant in a HO3, so if they have a room they rent, that's fine still. A permanent tenant, not a Airbnb room. In regards to if it's lived in or not, again, if it's a true mother-in-law quarters, that's still fine on the HO3 policy. If it becomes a rental, then we're going to want to talk about either a separate policy for it or possibly doing it as a DP3 duplex. So again, that's a more specific question. If it's a family member, yeah, that's fine.
Okay, we did get a couple more that came through. Can you clarify why DP3 is non-brush areas are only being offered DIC policies?
Okay, I think Can you clarify why DP3 is non-brush? So overall, in the state of California, there's 1,800 zip codes. We have some accumulation in some of these areas where we have some closures for non-brush business. It's just we've reached capacity currently in some areas. So when you go in and do a quote, it may say it's unavailable. When you kind of look at the house and say, well, it's in the middle of a particular area, that no way it should be unaccessible. Just know that we do have some accumulations closed. Earlier in the year, after the campfire from last year, we really had to kind of manage accumulations in a much tighter way after that loss. So we plan on going into 2020, opening up probably 98% of all zip codes. There'll be a few that will just stay closed, but we do plan on opening up some of those accumulation areas when we have some additional capacity.
And then we got another one. The max liability on animal is $100,000. Can you increase that? You
cannot. Currently, it's $100,000. That is our maximum.
And I believe you asked, what is the maximum coverage A?
Maximum coverage A is $800,000. And will we take Airbnb under DP3? Yes, we will. So Airbnb, VRBO. And here is the application. So again, once you bind it, here's the application, the deck page, the evidence, and then you're going to see this, which is the difference in condition endorsement. And I'll minimize that a little bit. So you can see it looks like the one we showed you earlier, but we have the policy number up here, and then we have the signature listed right here. So what we would like you to do once you bind that is to have it print, sign, digitally sign, however you want to do it, and then come back to the document section here. You'll see this upload document button. So from here, you'll just say see attached DIC, attach that file wherever it is on your computer and hit save. And what's nice about it is it puts it right into this document section to be saved forever. So this, as you can see now, there's about 8 things that are here, 7 things that are here. Over time, renewals will show up here, endorsement changes will show up here. This will continue to grow and it'll be saved in there forever. From here, what I want to show you too is if you want to change the effective date, click change the effective date, one button. You can change it all the way up to 30 days in advance. So we can say September 6th and hit submit. The reason why I'm doing this, I want to show you what happens in the document section once that is done. Another question coming through about the let's see, what do we have here? Yeah, I think for the agent asking the question about the kitchen or not kitchen or detached or not detached, what I'll do is once this is done, I'll give you a call and talk a little bit more specifically about a few different type of risks. When it comes to HO3 and DP3 and duplexes and triplexes and whether or not it's a family member, non-family member, whether or not we include it, not include it, it's, you know, over my years of doing this, it sometimes can be very specific to that type of property. All right, so again, let's go back to the document section. I'm going to take a quick sip of water. Give me a second. All right, sorry about that. I've been talking for a couple hours here. All right, so under the document section, once you do an endorsement, it takes about 2 or 3 minutes for the new deck page to show up. It hasn't showed up on here yet. Let's see if it's there now. Still not there. So generally, when you do an endorsement, you're going to see that new deck page listed here. We want you to, so a question came through is, what is the time frame to submit all the documentation? So again, we don't need a signed application. We don't need the FAIR plan. We just want that DIC, and we would like to have that in. And when I say immediately, that means, you know, generally within the next couple of days, but they will get, it's about 60 days. I hate to say that because it can vary depending on the type of month, but no more than 60 days before it cancels without getting that DIC. It's very important for us to receive that DIC.
And then we got another question. When can you provide another training for the absent employees?
So great question. In 2 weeks from today, we'll be doing it again. So we've seen now, we did some of these webinars earlier in the year. Great attendance. We decided to reactivate it 2 weeks ago, had, again, tremendous attendance. And today, looking at the numbers, there's again a demand for it. So we'll continue to do this every 2 weeks. But we also have on our Ages Easy website, we have a recorded DIC webinar if somebody would like to watch it. All right, so if you guys have never done an endorsement, I'm just going to show you this real quick because I think it's important. To endorse a policy with us, it's all real time, it's all live. So you would just go to whatever you want to do. If you want to modify the mortgagee, if you want to add a discount, want to go to the coverages, you just hit endorse policy and add ordinance of 10%, scroll down, hit save, and now it lets you preview that change before you actually submit it. So here you'll see it went ordinance law was changed from not covered to 10%, premium from $471 to $541. So what we do before we even allow you to bind an endorsement, we tell you what you're doing and what the cost is. I mean, Susie's and I's past life had nightmares around this when endorsements took months to get processed. So we really like the fact that we have that there for you.
All right, we did get a couple questions, and we did get a couple thanks. And we want to say thank you to you guys as well. We did get one where it says
the web address. So the web address is ages, AEGIS, easy, EASY.com, right here, under producer resources, which is right here. When you click on that, you could check out our webinar series, which takes you to these live webinars, or right below that, we've got video resources. So there you go, DIC Q&A for February. So.
And as Ed said as well, after the call, we're going to be sending a copy of the webinar to you guys as well, so you guys will have that.
Full payment is not required when issuing, so we do offer a 1, 3, and 5 pay. You can do that. Hope that answers that question. Do we treat HO3 same as mobile home trailers? Our DIC for mobile home isn't available until October, and at that point we'll be doing mobile homes, manufactured homes, permanently parked fifth wheels, as well as tiny homes. So that'll be coming as well. Let's see.
All right, we have, I believe, our last question here. It says, are there any policy forms like the dwelling fire or standard HO3 that doesn't allow us to make endorsements? On some of our bound policies, it doesn't,
It doesn't give an option to make the endorsement. So that's a very specific question. So throughout the last few months, there's been some moratoriums. The earthquake outside of Bakersfield, we had a lot of zip codes closed for 30 days, and if a zip code is closed, you cannot endorse it. If it you cannot add a DIC as an endorsement as well. So that's another thing. So the DIC has to be bound with a new policy. You cannot add or remove the DIC endorsement. If you have a specific one on that, you could always shoot me an email and we could talk about it if that helps for you. All right, everybody. I want to thank you. I'm going to stay on the phone. I'm going to just mute it here for a moment. I'm going to stay on the phone for a little while. Help answer any additional questions that you guys may have. You've been tremendous today. Thank you so much for joining and engaging in our DIC. Again, we'll have another webinar in 2 weeks, but at any time, you can go to our Ages Easy site. Another question came through. How do you handle pools on the property? We allow for pools. We do allow for diving boards, but we do exclude for those. And the pool must have water in it. If we do not have water, clean water, I've seen some green water, which isn't good. It must have water in it, otherwise that is a problem. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you, everyone.